morning. My name is Laura. You are listening to my podcast. I'm not sure what the name of it is anymore. It used to be Your Acupuncturist Friend. Then it was The Empty Center. I don't know. We're here to talk health and wellness, and I am your contact person for all things Eastern medicine. I don't know everything, but I know a lot, and I'm committed to educating the public and empowering us in our health rather than feeling powerless and out of touch with the very vessel that we live in every single day. So I'm here today to talk about castor oil. I have been awakened to this substance. It was not a part of my pharmacopoeia, meaning when I trained formally as an herbalist in school and was licensed and tested, castor oil was not in that. And the reason is that castor oil has been looked at by Chinese medicine. I can look up the energetics, which is what I've done. I'm an herbalist, so it's not hard for me to learn about castor oil and understand it, especially now that I've been using it experientially. So what I want to share with you today is the information that I've learned as an herbalist, which will continue as always. Also my personal experience with this substance, and then also the comments and feedback. And I have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of comments on Patreon, or not on Patreon, on TikTok, about castor oil, people giving feedback, and it's consistent. And when I looked up the energetics of this substance and of this plant, I got it. I finally understood it. So I want to share with you, this is not a Western point of view. This is more of an Ayurvedic Eastern medicine point of view. Ayurveda has their own language. That's the medicine that comes out of India. East Asian medicine is a combination of Korean, Japanese, and Chinese medicine. I was trained in what we call TCM, but I was also trained in other kinds of East Asian medicine. So TCM was something that was made up by the Mao dynasty in China in the 1950s in a way to package the medicine that was more palatable to Western thinkers as this traveled around the world. So let's get to what castor oil is good for, just right off the bat. First of all, this is something I really think most people need to have in their house. Why do I think that? I think it because this is fully natural. This is a neutral oil. Not many people are going to have allergies to this. That's not to say people don't have allergies, but there's a difference also between having an allergy to something and having a response. And while this oil is very neutral in a temperature way, so every substance has a temperature. It might be warm, it might be cool, it might be cold, it might be hot. I'll give you an example. Pepper, right? Hot peppers. Most people get that those are very hot in nature. Gypsum, which is what we use in our walls in the US. What do you call it? You know, the drywall that we put up, that's got gypsum in it. Gypsum is very, very cold. It's actually the coldest herb in our pharmacopoeia. So when do we use hot and cold substances, or warm and cool substances, or neutral substances? Well, the answer is we always use them together. Single herb use, I don't care what herb it is, I don't care what plant it is, you always want to combine herbs because they strengthen each other and they fill in gaps where that one herb maybe doesn't do that thing. Also, we don't always know the quality of every herb we're getting. Some halls for that season might not be as potent, so you want to add other herbs that do the same thing. We use cool or cold herbs when we have heat or hot conditions or fire conditions in the body. We use warm herbs when we have cold conditions in the body. And how can you tell if what you have is warm or cold, or warm or hot or cool or cold? You can tell because of how things get better or how they change based on temperature. So this is why where you live matters. And it's why sometimes people with arthritis or other issues, COPD, they have to move, right? They have to move climates because they have to dry out. So things like temperature, wetness, dryness, these things really matter when we're talking about holistic medicine and when we're looking at natural substances. So castor oil is really special. And I'm so excited that I found it and that I've been talking to people about it online for the last month. Not only has it changed my own health profile, and it's something that I will continue to use because I've been on a personal healing journey with my body for the last couple of years. It's been a new challenge for me. Castor oil is fast becoming a tool that I use every single day, and it is doing miracle things. So castor oil is a bit of a paradox. When we come across paradoxes, meaning there's multiple things that are true, that conflict, these tend to be very, very powerful, useful substances. So some of the comments that I've gotten on castor oil, one of the first ones that I started to get, I think I got at least 3 or 4, maybe more, of people saying, when I use this, it dries my skin out. And my videos on TikTok were showing me using it all over as a moisturizing, nourishing tool, which it definitely is that. But it can also pull water. Now, or fluid, let's call it fluid, because not all fluid in the body is water, right? We have all kinds of fluids in the body. Castor oil is really good at drawing fluid into the intestines and helping you to get rid of stuff. Castor oil is moving. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this oil, other than the fact that, now some people say it's warming. Some people say this is a warm oil. I also saw a source that said it's cooling. I don't think it's either of those. And it does seem to be a bit subjective of what people think and maybe what their training is and how they look at it. I understand why people say it's warming because it moves so strongly. The thing I want you to think about with castor oil is how it moves things. So what are the common things that people use castor oil for? Well, we use it over the liver. You can soak like a flannel piece of fabric in some castor and put that over your liver and you want to lay down and rest when you use castor. You want to give yourself time to go through that treatment. So it's good for the liver. Decongest the liver, helps people to sleep. One symptom somebody came up with was nightmares. I'm going to go into all this, but I want to cover this first. So it's good for the liver directly. People also say it's good for the skin. People also say it's good for the bowels. It's really good for accumulations in the body. Why? What are accumulations? When things accumulate and they're not supposed to, we call this stasis. We call this stagnation. We can have different kinds of stagnation in the body. We can have stagnation of blood. We can have stagnation of fluid. We can have stagnation of energy. What does that feel like when we have stagnation of energy? Generally, the pain tends to move around, okay? Even something like indigestion, right? That pain moves. So this isn't a fixed fluid or blood stagnation. This is a chi stagnation. And as chi moves, you feel it move. Chi is energy. This oil moves the energy, the life force, the chi of the body. When it does that, energy is not substance. Guess what can happen? That chi can actually help to move substance. Now, in addition to that, this moves blood. Because it moves blood, that tells you just how strong of a chi mover it is. I can move chi, you can move chi by different thinking, by thoughts, right? We can change our mood with how we think. That's like a chi movement. There's no substance there, but in changing our mind, we can also shift our substance. This oil, this oil moves chi and blood. Very powerful. I've read some other things about what people say it does. I think predominantly that's what this is, a chi and blood mover. So that would explain many, many things that I've heard, both positive and also concerns about it. So just today, a comment, somebody said, even if I use just a little bit, I get really sick. Because this is such a strong chi and blood mover, what this makes me wonder is what's going on inside your body. Because if we have a bunch of stuck inflammatory things or fluids or blood, things that have been sitting in the joints, in the tissues for a long time, those substances are kind of toxic to us, right? It's kind of why the body will hold it for us in check. So if you start to exercise, or let's say you get on the vibration plate, which is another tool of movement that I've been suggesting to people for it's been about a year. Let me make sure my podcast is still on because I'm not used to this new computer and it keeps closing on me. Okay, good. We're still recording. So any kind of accumulation, maybe that is nodules. Maybe that is some kind of tumor. Maybe that is some kind of a cyst. Maybe that's a lipoma. Here's another one. I'm a little all over the place, but this is how it's going to go. And then I'm going to tie together these tissues for you and the connection to the liver and how you know castor is a good thing to look to. Milia, which are those little white bumps. They're very hard. And if you try to get them out on your own, it's really hard. Like you really have to break the skin and like almost pull it out. I've done that for years. I used to get them around my eyes. And an esthetician that I know said recently that this is like a sign of cholesterol, that it's actually cholesterol coming out in the body. Cholesterol has an affinity for what? Where is cholesterol made? In the liver. Okay, so the liver stuff is going to keep coming up, and I'm going to bring you back to that here in a second, because liver health is really what this is about, liver and lung health. So when you get the milia, a lot of people are like, oh, it causes milia. No, it's not causing milia. This is a neutral oil. This oil moves. I want to bring that back to you. This oil moves. It moves chi and blood. If there is something pathogenic to your body, whether that's damp, phlegm, and when I say damp and phlegm in Western medicine, damp and phlegm can be cancer. Okay, damp and phlegm can be milia. That's more of a phlegm condition. Damp and phlegm can be gallstones. Damp and phlegm can be high cholesterol. Damp and phlegm can be a fatty liver. Damp and phlegm can be lipomas, tumors. Okay, damp and phlegm, using Chinese medical theory, is a wide range of things. It's not just the phlegm that comes out of your nose or the phlegm that comes out of your throat. It's any kind of pathogenic dampness in the body. So it doesn't cause milia, it pulls milia. Why? Because it moves chi and blood in the face. So it stimulates healing in the face, and it will also help to express that. Interestingly enough, as soon as somebody said, oh, this causes milia for me, I have not had a milia in years. And right after using it for 3 days, I got one right here on my eye. Not only was it super easy to come out because it was fresh, so I just scratched it off, but then that opening healed up so fast using the castor. Now, I did notice a little bit of dryness, which was so interesting after so much nourishment and healing. Like, why is it drying? Well, castor oil is neutral. Castor oil works on fluid in the body because it's a mover. So when you move chi and blood, blood in Chinese medicine is a lot more than just the red substance you see. It's a conceptual thing too. Most of Chinese medicine is. It's why it can be really useful to know about it. But what I thought after reading the comments about the dryness of the skin that some people have, and then also kind of experiencing it myself. So I just stopped using it for a day and it all moistened out and evened out. I think what it was is that I had a lot of pathogenic damp. I'm a damp person. Okay, I have a lot of damp issues in my body. So I think what it was doing was getting rid of that pathologic damp, and then my skin was resetting. So I didn't do anything else to it. I like to really experiment. So I'm not saying castor oil is the only thing you need, but castor oil, I'm going to use this word for myself, is very clarifying because it moves stasis. Anything that's stuck, anything that's sitting, anything that shouldn't be there. It moves chi and blood. It's going to show you the truth of what's there. It's going to clarify for you what's underneath. A lot of the other comments that I had were people saying, oh yeah, when I was a kid, my mom used to give this to me and we never got sick, or it would make us feel better. I believe that because it can so quickly pull things out of your body, move things, right? Now, some of the words I found in Chinese medicine say other things about it. After using it and looking at it and reading so many different articles about it, I actually don't know that I agree with all the things people say. Some people say that this is a warming oil. I don't think so. I think it's neutral. That's my take on it. So this is a very neutral oil that very strongly moves chi and blood. It moves stasis in the body more than it nourishes. It moves. Now, because it's an oil, it's also protective. So this is not a purgative. Like if you've ever used any of those teas that make you poop and you cramp, that's a purgative. That's a very harsh purgative. Castor oil is not a purgative. Castor oil is both nourishing and moving. But if there's dryness underneath, right, if the pathogen is that we are fundamentally not well nourished in some way, it's going to show that. Now, I want to connect the liver aspect of this oil to the tissues that it works on. Again, this is Chinese medicine, this is East Asian medicine, and I have no doubt this is also a part of Ayurvedic medicine, which is on par in terms of the history of the medicine with Chinese medicine. So every tissue in the body has a related organ that it's expressing. So I'll give you an example. Bones are related to kidney, teeth, all the bones in your body. These are deeply related to kidney. So bone issues, if we have bone issues in some way, we want to look to improving the health of the kidneys or balancing out the kidneys. The muscles are a direct expression in Chinese medicine, we say the spleen, but in modern times, I would also say the spleen and the pancreas. It's really when the Chinese were talking about the spleen because they didn't have microscopes and it was all observational. Really, the functions they're talking about are also pancreatic. So that would be the muscles. The expression of the liver is many different tissues. The expression of the liver, and think about this with castor and the things that you're learning about castor that you've heard about castor. Castor oil is great for hair, all kinds of hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, head hair, beard hair, anywhere you're supposed to be growing hair. Castor is great for it. It nourishes it. A lot of people say that it helps them to grow it. I think it makes the hair more healthy. I don't find this to be a stimulant of hair growth, although it does move chi and blood. So if you have clogged pores or other areas that have to do with a lack of stimulation, this can help to open that stimulation. Okay, so hair, eyes, skin, and then bowels, interestingly. So the skin in Chinese medicine really relates to two different organs. The expression of the skin, the health of the skin, the vibrancy of the skin, the pores on the skin, and what else? The hairs on the skin relate to two different organ systems, liver and lung. Liver and lung. So the skin is a real expression of liver health and lung health. Now it can show when we get stagnated, like skin tags, for example. This is an expression of, in Chinese medicine, small intestine health. This has to do with not being able to separate clear from turbid. Likely it's a sugar imbalance as well, and a glucose intolerance. So the skin can show other things, but the skin is predominantly an expression of the lung, the large intestine, those are paired organs, and the liver. Liver blood nourishes the hair, the eyes, and the skin. What is castor oil known for? The hair, the eyes, and the skin. Let me tell you some of the things I've learned over the last month in reading comments and then doing research and being able to verify this and understand as an herbalist and a Chinese medical thinker why this is right. So I've heard people say, I use castor oil to shrink my cataracts. I've used it for conjunctivitis. I've used it for dry eyes and floaters. The eyes are an expression of the liver. How nourished the eyes are an expression of how nourished the liver is, how healthy the liver is. I've heard people say that they've used it on their scalp to improve the quality of their hair. I have a few friends who've done it. And they're like, wow, it makes such a difference. I've noticed a difference on my eyebrows since using it. I don't know, they just seem smoother. They seem more full, better. I don't know. I've been using it on my skin here on my neck in particular because I have that like crepey, dry thing happening. And I have tried other things, not many, because I'm not big in products, but yeah, let's give it a try. I'll experiment. Crap. None of it works. Maybe for a second, but it doesn't I don't see an improvement over time. And I'm not into chemicals. Why? Because chemicals go through the skin and they affect your liver and your kidney and your blood. So I stay away from that stuff. I've been using the castor. I definitely see healing. I definitely see healing happening here. Okay. So this oil balances, this oil moves, this oil clarifies. So if you're getting sick, and I'm going to tell you a story about that in a second from using this, that's information. Could you be having an allergic reaction? Yeah, you could. Anything's possible. But I'm going to say that's really good information. Where did you put it? What happened? What is the state of your internal body? You don't have to use the oil right on the areas where you're having trouble. Like let's say you put it on your liver. Another thing that came up was nightmares. Someone said, I love this, or I don't even know if they said I love it. I tried this. I put it on my liver and I had terrible nightmares and I can't use it. Nightmares, sleep issues are predominantly a liver issue, a liver and heart. The liver and the heart work together at night for nightmares. This was another comment I had today. Somebody said, well, nightmares could be because of trauma. Nightmares could be because of illness. Right. And they still relate to the liver health. Those issues relate to liver health directly. This is ancient wisdom. This is something that we understand deeply. It's something that never fails. It's diagnostic. Okay. So if you have sleep issues, if you have nightmares, if you have dream issues, if you travel in your sleep, sleepwalking, all of these things relate to liver health. And I don't want you to freak out about your liver. Chinese diagnosis, while we can do things, I can diagnose someone who's been clinically diagnosed in the Western setting, right? Numbers, figures, all that. But we can see things subclinically because we understand these patterns in the body, okay? So The liver moves. I'm going to say that again. The liver moves, or castor oil moves chi and blood. And the predominant organ that is responsible for the movement of chi and blood in the body is the liver. Now, what else does the liver relate to? It relates to reproductive organs. It relates to your uterus. It relates to your ovaries. It relates to your period blood. Liver blood and period blood, that's one thing, okay? And this connection between the liver and heart with dreams, guess what that also corresponds to? To the period. Women have a relationship between their pericardium, which is the wrapping around their heart, and their period blood. Every month it gives us a chance to reset, to get rid of things. So when you have a difficult period, a stuck period, painful periods, just dysregulated periods in general, this tells you about the state of the health of your liver blood. Liver blood is a huge thing. If you are anemic, if you are dysregulated in any sense in your body, if you have issues with your hair, your eyes, your skin, your nails, your sleep, liver health is something that you want to focus on. And you don't want to focus on it in a Western point of view. You want to focus on it in an Eastern point of view. And Eastern medicine includes understanding the emotions of the organs and which emotions are held predominantly in certain organs. So you can also correlate emotional health and things, other symptoms you have that way, to these organs. So what does castor oil do when you put it on the liver channel, which I highly recommend you play with that. Find out where the liver channel is. It goes from the big toe, up the shin, up the inner thigh, and it encircles the genitals. So also if you have genital issues, again, pelvic issues, the channel of the liver is a great place to put this stuff. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you about, because I've been using castor oil on my legs at night because I'm dealing with edema, pretty significant edema. I've developed a compartment. I grew a compartment over the last year where my body now likes to hold fluid. So I've been putting this on my legs. And when I wake up every morning and use the bathroom, let me tell you, that water is coming out of me, okay? This pulls pathogenic dampness from the tissues, from the skin, into the bowels, and it helps you to get rid of it. Or in the case of the milia, right, which also eyes, right? For me, the milia were right around the eyes. So double duty, skin and eyes. Boop, out pops that phlegm. Out pops that dampness. That's being pulled, from the body because it's moving. So my body is actually pulling it. The oil is moving it and giving my body the chance to heal. Okay, so think about it a little bigger than milia. Think about lipomas. I just put it on my leg the other day. I've been working on my leg with 2 different massage therapists. I've been doing acupuncture. I've been taking herbs, and I've made a lot of progress. But there's this area on my leg that is it's not hard anymore, but it's so stuck. And it's like you can't get into the tissue and feel it. So I'm talking about castor oil every day. I start putting castor oil on it at night, all around the calf, all around the knee, all where I have the stasis. The first day after using it, I felt in there, it felt like marbles. I could feel all of these like lipomas. They were like marbles in my leg. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it, right? Wherever you put this is going to change the tissue. This is going to help to move the chi and blood of the tissue, which means you're breaking up stagnation. So people use it where? Face, right? To help clarify, to clear. If you get a little bit dry, you're going to want to look to something else to help you with the dryness, but give it a day or two because it does pull water, pathogenic water and pathogenic damp. Okay. Eyes. Yeah, head to toe. Yeah, head to toe. I just saw that comment on my, okay, let's go back to I have so many things on my brain. Let's go back to the pelvic area on women, menstrual issues, ovarian issues, any kind of stasis. So this would be endometriosis, PCOS. This could be tumors that you have in this part of the body. Castor oil moves. Castor oil brings movement to the blood and the chi, and this allows the body to heal. Now, am I telling you to treat yourself if you have some kind of serious issue? Of course I'm not. I don't know you. I don't know your body. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know your pulse. I don't know your tongue. I don't know your medical history. So I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is this is a very balanced, neutral substance. This is a substance that is a gift to us. Every natural substance on earth has a purpose and a use and is a gift, but some of them are super speed. Some of them are hyper speed. And castor oil, I'm quickly finding, is one of those substances. Everyone should have this in their home. This could replace decongestants. This could replace analgesics. This could replace a lot of different medications if we know what we're doing and we take the time to figure it out. But I really would strongly suggest to use this over the areas of the pelvis, the abdomen, the liver, the face, the neck, the knees, the joints, the ankles, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the shoulder joints in the back, even on the spine, because it is so strong to move. And I'll say it again, this moves. This moves. If you need to do something else like warm up or cool, or you want to inject some other energetic into your body, mix it with another oil. I've heard a lot of people say for the face, they do it with frankincense. Frankincense is great for the skin. The other day on my area of edema, I was using moxa. If you don't know moxa, look that up. That's a part of what I do. I was using moxa, which is a heat therapy. It's an infrared heat therapy. I put castor oil on my leg, and then I put ginger oil within that, because ginger is very warming, and ginger helps to open up all the channels of the body. So I wanted to warm that area, and I wanted to very strongly move chi and blood. This is a chi and blood mover. This moves things. If you put this on the breast tissue, this can help to open up the breast tissue. This can help you to have better self-breast exams, because as it moves that tissue and opens it, you're going to start to feel what's in there. Don't freak out. Do more oil. And if you're feeling sick, obviously don't. If this makes you feel sick, it's because there's a lot being stirred up, and now your body has to metabolize it. And you might not be strong enough digestively or metabolically to fully metabolize everything this is doing for you. In these cases where you can't do direct application, what I recommend is going to the feet and or the legs and doing a small amount, just covering those areas. If you want to be really directed, you can look up channels that are on the leg and go, what channel do I want to put that on? And just channels are their energy. Okay, so as long as you get in the general area, you're fine. But if you do this on the lower body, it's still going to have an impact. Like I said, I've been doing it on my knees and below, and I wake up every day and I have to get things out of my body in the morning because this moves so strongly, and the channels flow to the organs. So you can still treat the organs, you can still treat the conditions, but you can do it through the energetic channels. And that is how substances flow. And this is a very old understanding of medicine in the body. This is not a fad. This is not hippy dippy. This is just not known. This is an open secret. Okay. And that's what I'm here to expose. And I love finding new things like this because this is cheap. This is effective. Like a lot of people in the comments said, oh yeah, my mom used to give me a teaspoon or a tablespoon and we never got sick, or if we did, it would go right away. I used it on my son, like I said, for his sinus stuff. Because I thought, well, if this moves chi and blood, this should clear out the sinuses. So I rubbed it in, all over, did his head up here. This area here relates to the sinuses. So this is an area you can press. If you ever go to an acupuncturist, sometimes they'll put needles up here to help open up your nose. So I use this on my son. It opened up his ear. It opened up his sinuses. If you use this on your uterus, it can help to break up stasis in there and open that up. Breast tissue, right? Same thing. There are actually pads that you can use. I have them in my shop, but you can use flannel, you can use cotton, but you want to rest when you do these treatments. You need to see this as a time to treat yourself. Have a ritual around this. I talked about it the other day. Okay, but castor oil, it's been used for thousands of years. It goes back to Cleopatra. Incredibly safe. Yes, you can take it internally, but I would tell you, you don't need to. It's such a powerful mover that all you have to do is put it on your skin. It has an affinity for the skin. It has an affinity for the liver. The liver relates to hair, skin, nails, eyes. The liver blood nourishes your body. It also relates to the period blood. It also relates to the reproductive organs, okay? So this really is a whole body oil. You want to think of this as a healing oil. So if you see dryness come out from this, that tells you underneath you have some dryness. You can play around with it to see how this might help you with that dryness, but more than likely, if you're seeing dryness with castor, there's something inside that's dry that needs to be nourished. And more than likely, it's related to your lungs and your liver. The lungs don't like dryness. The lungs need to be moist, not wet, but moist. We're not talking about the lungs here so much, but the lungs and the liver do relate to the skin, okay? And the lungs are paired with the large intestine, yin-yang organs, okay? So this is why a lot of what will happen when you put castor on is it'll come out through your large intestine later in the day or the next day, because it pulls that water in. So for people who are getting dryness, that's why. Fundamentally, underneath your pathogenic dampness, you are dry. So as I say, if you get sick or if you have a symptom that doesn't fit with oil, because oil shouldn't dry you out, right? This is clarifying. This gives you information you can work with. So now it's what next, right? What is this telling me? Another thing, this is a story that I want to tell about somebody who follows me on TikTok. They're a mutual, and they've been like taking different pieces of advice that I've been giving or guidance, and they got some castor oil, and they had a really dark spot right here on their nose. It almost looked like broken blood vessels, but they were dark. They're like purple, blue, black kind of looking, very, very dark. As a person who observes for a living and is a part of my diagnostics, to me, that was serious. Just seeing it on its own, I was like, I wonder what that is. It's something in the center of the body, right? It's the center of the face. This is a microcosm. So the center of the face to me says the center of the body, which tells me digestive, but also potentially heart, right? Like center. There's a lot of different ways to look at the face. So it kind of gives me an idea, but I know that there's stasis, because black, blue, purple colors in the body, unless we're talking about the eyes, that's stasis. That's something that's not moving. It's blood, it's fluid, it's something that's stuck. So this person took a little castor and put it on their nose, on that spot. Immediately had trouble breathing. Where are we? We're on the nose, right? This goes right to the lung. Immediately had trouble breathing, not like to an emergency level from my understanding, but just difficulty. And then they immediately had to go to the bathroom, and they had a big poop. Lung and large intestine are paired organs. One excretes from the top, one excretes from the bottom. They're yin and yang, and they are both metal element. If you want to know more about this stuff, go to my Patreon and listen to my podcasts about the lung and the large intestine and the metal element. The time of the year of those organs is the fall time. That will give you a little more context. So she puts it on this dark spot where we have stagnation, just a little castor. Immediately has trouble breathing, immediately has to poop. So she goes and gets an adjustment. She's like trying to figure it out. She comes back and talks to me, and I explain this about the lung and large intestine, and also the powerful ability of castor to move things. So that's great. It's great we can move things that are stuck, right? This is why it helps for fibromyalgia. This is why it helps for painful joints. Also, warts. Try this on your warts. This is antifungal also. Try this on your fungus. What I will say first is wash the feet. Maybe get some apple cider vinegar, because that neutralizes that stuff and gives you a better playground for it. You can also mix this with apple cider vinegar and apply it. Wrap your feet in cotton socks, okay? This is antifungal. This is antimicrobial. It's very neutral. This oil is just, it's a cure-all, it's a catch-all. So you might need other things, but this is always going to tell you the truth, and it's going to move chi and blood. It's going to help with pain. It's going to help with anything that's stuck. Warts are stuck. Skin tags are stuck. Uterine cramps are stuck. Milia that are under the skin, cholesterol under the skin, that's stuck. It's trapped. It's hard to move. It's dense. It's thick. You do this, boop, body expresses. You put it over lipomas. You put it over different tumors or lumps that you have that you can't get rid of. Try it. See how the tissue changes. Give it a shot. This is not toxic to the body. Castor seeds have ricin in them. And if you know ricin's a poison. But once they break the seed down, it becomes neutral. The reason that you want to get hexane free is that some people or some processes, if it doesn't say hexane free, they use chemicals, I believe, that have hexane to get the oil out, and this is poisonous. So you always want to make sure it's hexane free. You want to make sure that your oil is organic, cold pressed, and that it's in a dark amber bottle. Why? Because all oils can go rancid, light affects them. When you open castor oil, you want to use it within a year or less. Because of the roller ball that I found with the rose quartz thing, I'm going through castor really quick. I don't need to worry about my oil going bad anymore. But I think I'm going to listen back to this and see what I missed. But what I want to tell you is this is a moving oil. So if you have stagnation in your body, stagnation of phlegm, stagnation of gallstones, stagnation of liver energy, stagnation in your skin, stagnation in your hair follicles, stagnation in your uterus, in your ovaries, in your testes, stagnation in your joints. What does stagnation feel like? It feels like pain. It feels like sharp pain, stabbing pain, achy pain, pain. It feels like things getting numb, not flowing, right? Things are stuck. That is when you want to try castor oil. If you are getting other symptoms like redness, this is moving things that are stuck. Redness is a sign of heat, so this can pull heat out of the body. I think this is one of the reasons why people think that it's a cold herb, but it's not, because if you don't have heat, it's not going to produce that redness. Allergic reactions, if you are truly allergic to something, are going to happen anywhere in your body, right? If you're allergic to a substance, that's going to cause a systemic allergy. If you put it on one area in particular and you have a reaction, but you feel okay, look at that reaction. Is it excessive looking? Is it really red and hot? Is it kind of light red? Is it continuing to happen, or does it happen and then it's done? This is a moving oil. This is a moving oil. And that's what I want you to take away from this. Not a lot of things move this way. Not a lot of things are this strong to move chi and blood and stasis. And stasis, as a healthcare professional, is most of the cause of disease. It's things being stuck. It's things not moving. So getting things to move is a huge deal. As I said at the beginning, you might need to heat things. You might need to cool things. There might be other things we want to put with this oil, but if we want things to move, this is the oil to use. I'm going to give you one last example that I can think of right now. This is the parotid gland here, okay? And the parotid gland can get really stuck here behind the ears. If any of you have like a sore or even painful, hard notch here, that's a part of, so this is like a corner, right, in the body. Anywhere that we have corners, like joints, things can get stuck there. This very much relates to digestion. We have the large intestine channel here. We have the gallbladder channel here. We have the stomach channel here. This is very much digestion. And this is a gland that relates to digestive juices. So if we get stuck, or if we're just old, or, we're not moving enough, or whatever, our diets haven't been great, or we're stressed out, getting stuck back here makes a lot of sense. I did this for 2 weeks with this roller, like this. Look, I'll show you. I just put it up here behind my ear. I went all the way up. Ooh, I can still feel a little bit of soreness right there. And then I came in front of the ear, and this is what I did. And then I came down into the neck. And I did this for 2 weeks. After 1 week, I felt this completely shift. 20 years I've had this. And now it's 3 weeks later. If I have pain, it's like down to like 1%. Maybe just a little bit of discomfort. I haven't solved the root issue of the stasis. I think the root issue might be getting old. And some things that I'm not willing to give up. I don't give up every single thing that maybe isn't the best for me, because some things feed my soul. Dairy might be the cause of some of this. I don't have a lot, but I have a little. But putting this here has completely cleared out my parotid. Why? Because this moves chi and blood. It is not easy to move chi and blood. And even if you exercise and you get a lot of that energy going in your body, if you're not warming down properly, if you're not getting massaged properly or shaking things out properly, like with a vibration plate, things can get stuck after they get warm. And we see this process with alcohol, right? Alcohol makes you loose. It warms everything up. But the next day, how do you feel? You feel stuck, because that heat dries things out. The body's dynamic. The body's alive. There are so many different conceptualizations that we don't understand about our organs. They are so much more than a physical structure. Our organs and our bodies start from energy. The energy underneath is what animates us. That's chi. That's prana. That's life force. Knowing and understanding chi and how it works in the body is one of the keys to health. Castor oil moves chi and blood. I'm going to say it again. Castor oil moves chi and blood. Anything that's stuck, you have a headache, you have sinus issues, you have issues in your eyes, you have issues in your liver, you have issues in your uterus, you have issues in your groin, you have issues in your elbows, knees, feet. Try this. Okay? That's my advice. I'm going to keep talking more about it. It was a pretty simple oil to study, to be honest with you. It's neutral, which I love. It's balanced. This helps you to get homeostasis in the body. And so if this is causing a reaction, I want you to keep in mind, that's good information. What's the reaction? Where is it? Where did you put it? Like for my friend who had the spot, she was going to put it on her wrist to try it again. I said, don't put it on your wrist. Those are the same channels that run up your arm into your face. And also it's still close to your chest. Go down to the bottom of your body. If you have a response, go to the feet. See how it works on the feet. Give it 24 hours. Let it sit. Use a heating bottle, like a water bottle. Put flannel over it. Soak the flannel. Put that on your feet. Or put cotton socks on your feet after you do the castor there. Try it lower body if you have issues upper body. This moves. The same thing happens with the vibration plate. People get on the vibration plate, they're like, oh, I'm dizzy. Oh, I got nauseous. I can't use that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But you might have to moderate how strong it is, how long you use it. You might have to play around to see how much can I handle. Just because we can move things doesn't mean we can handle the metabolizing of what's gotten moved. That's more about the deeper healing of being strong enough to metabolize, to get rid of it, and to cope with what's coming into the system. So if you are someone who has a lot of stasis, a lot of stagnation, you've been on a lot of Western drugs, you take a lot of the over-the-counter stuff, or you're really stressed out emotionally, castor's going to move that. Okay? This is why also when people put it on their livers, they'll get dreams, they'll get nightmares sometimes. So don't put it right over your liver. That's too much. You're moving it too much. Go down to the liver channel in the foot. Go to liver 3. Liver 3 is between the big toe and the second toe. That is called the yuan source point of the liver. That will help to move that whole channel. And it might just cause fewer dreams or less dreams or help you to feel more rested, but we're not putting it right over the liver and kind of punching it in the face, right? We can be more gentle. If you can't do something direct, do it distally. Distally means at the opposite end. If you don't know what the opposite end is and you're working on a channel or you're working on an organ, look at the channel. How do you do that? Google it. Where's the liver channel? Where's the kidney channel? Where's the gallbladder channel? Where's the pancreas, spleen channel? Where's the stomach channel? All right, so I want you to play, have fun. I'm in love with this substance. This is much like the vibration plate. This feels like a gift. It feels like the universe put this on my doorstep to share with you, to hopefully help you see a little bit more deeply into the body, to think a little more deeply about these organs, that they're not just physical structures, they're energy structures. They carry emotions for us. They help us to digest our feelings, our thoughts, not just food, okay? So, enjoy the castor. I'm going to see if this podcast came through. If it did, I'm going to be posting it on Substack on Patreon and Substack. And I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. So thanks for joining. That was longer than I thought. Bye. I'll be back.